What the heck? Hold on, pause momentarily. Minimize, minimize. Where's my little rotation? GeoGebra. Enter. Okay, so normally for rotations, I'm going to open this real quick. This is what we had the other day that we worked with. You could use this for what we're doing today as well. So the other day, what I told you to do was move your center to 0, 0. And then when we spun, it moved 1 quadrant for 90, 2 quadrants for 180, 3 quadrants for 270. So this is exactly the same thing spinning around. Now, the only difference is on Friday and Monday, we spun around 0, 0. Today, the origin is going to move around. So that's why it's part 2, because it's still rotations, but now my rotation can, like, if I want to spin around over here, I can spin over there. And I can okay, so it's not always going to be at 0, 0. If I want to spin around a point on the picture, it's going to specify. Then I spin around that point. Ooh. Okay, you don't need your computers. If you want to use this later, you can, because once again, you're not going to have this program online, but this like is a visualizer of what's happening. You're spinning around a specific point. So for like normal, it's around here, and then it's easy to tell like if you're in the right quadrant, because like this would be like 90 degrees, 180 degrees, and then 270 is over here because it spins 3 times. So we're using this. Oh, go away. Gonna get rid of that now. So now it's around a specific point. So this is part 2. So rotations always are centered around 0, 0, which is the origin. So 0, 0, which is the origin. Okay. Unless specified. So today it's going to be specified. So for number 1, it says we're going to rotate triangle ABC 180 degrees. Why does it not say clockwise or counterclockwise? Because it's the same. It doesn't matter. You're going to end up, it's fine, whichever direction you go. Centered around point B. So find point B on your graph. This point right here, I'm going to use the pencil. This point right here, that is where it is spinning. So instead of 180, instead of it ending up over here, it's going to end up on the other side somewhere down here, because that's my spin point. So this is the part that's weird. We are basically going to move 0, 0 with a colored pencil to that spot. So this is my new 0, 0. New 0, 0. So I'm literally making a new X and Y axis based upon that point. So point B is literally on my triangle. So I'm going to make my X axis go horizontal, side to side. And my Y axis runs vertical through that point. So this is very easy today. It's just like really weird. So like I said, if you don't pay attention, it's not going to make sense. But if you pay attention, you're going to be like, as soon as it like clicks in your brain, you're going to be like, that was easy. Okay. So normally A, so we're going to write out our points. Typically A would be at like 2, 5, but we're not going to write that because the origin is not in the center anymore. The origin is all the way over here. So it's not at 2, 5. It would be at what? -2, +3. So we're literally moving the origin of the graph. Pass. What? What? No. I'll just email Miss Richardson. It's fine. Richardson. Okay. You were like, I'd be late to math because that's too shy. Okay. B, based on the new origin, the old one would be like 4, 2, but now it's over here. So what is that? 0, 0, because that's the turning point. So 0, 0 is there. And then C would be what? 1, 2. Okay. After we write out our fake points, because these are not real points, because that doesn't make any sense, right? These are like fake points. We're just going to use the rule like we have been. So 180 doesn't matter if you go clockwise or counterclockwise on the poster for rotations. What is my rule? -x, -y. So basically, we find these fake points that are not real. We find these fake points. We're going to use the rule. The rule is still the same for 180. We're going to change them, and then we're going to plot them. And then we're going to find the new points, the real points, okay? So if that's my rule, what's A prime? 2, -3. What about B prime? 0, 0, because like that's 0, 0. And then what's C prime? -1, -2. So when I plot them, I'm not using the real 0, 0. I'm using the origin that I moved. So A is going to be at 2, -3. 2. Which makes sense because if we looked at A to A prime, they moved 2 quadrants, 1, 2. B has not moved because that's my spin point. So B prime is still there, 0, 0. And C is at -1, -2. Same thing if I look at C to C prime, it's jumped 2 quadrants. So if I connect them, I'm going to use my other color because hopefully I got 2 colors. We're going to color it in. Honestly, if you can use the same color, you can use the same color. But I like it to be colorful. So you can't see. You're just plotting your points. The only trick is a lot of people will go back to the real 0, 0 and plot these. So it'd be like 2, -3 down here. You're using the origin that you created. So the last step that you need to do is write out the real points. These are all fake. They're made up. They're not real points. Okay. We're going to write the final answer, which is the real point. So final answers. So A prime, if I think I've moved back to 0, 0, I'm using the real quadrants now. Where the heck is A prime compared to 0, 0? You have to go to the right and you have to go down. 6, -1. Where's B prime at? 4, 2. And C prime? 3, 0. That's it. So, is it hard? No. But is it weird? Yes. It's very weird. Okay. Now, the good thing is every time I'm proctoring the EOC and I'm walking around with my eyes closed, but I have to watch you guys because I have to make sure you're not cheating. I am not looking at the EOC. I've never seen this on the EOC, but I've never also looked at the EOC because that's not allowed, you know? Okay. I've never seen this on the EOC, but it is on the test because it is part of the standard. So could it be on there? Yes. Have I ever seen it on there? No. It's usually always spinning around 0, 0 like normal. So we're going to do this for now. And we're going to do it on the test review because it's on the test. When we start reviewing for the EOC, we're not going to spin around random points. So for number 2, they'll give you one of these probably if you're like really high because it's adaptive. So, but for just regular, it's not. So the second one, we're going to do the same thing. It says rotate ABC 270 counterclockwise. If it was normal 270, it would do 1, 2, 3. It'd end up somewhere down here. But it's not going to this time because it's spinning 270 around this random point. So it's not a point on our triangle. It's literally a point just randomly floating around on the graph. This is going to be our new 0, 0. So we're going to plot that point, -2, 3. That rando point is where it's spinning around. So that is where we're going to draw on the x-axis, x-axis, and then the y-axis. So through this random spinning point. After you draw on the x and y-axis, then you're finding the points on the graph. So take a second. A is not at 2, 5. You need to take a second and use your new 0, 0 to figure out. I start here and I go over and up. Where is that? So take a minute, find ABC. Or like moving the origin of the graph completely over. So where's A? Not 2, 5. 4, 2. Because you're using your new 0, 0, which is this random point here. So from here, I'm going over 4 up 2. To B, 6, -1. Is that right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. 6, -1. C, 7, 1. So those are like our fake points. They're not the real points, but that's okay. Those points help us do the next step. So the next step is to use 270 counterclockwise rule. So what's my rule for 270 counterclockwise? What? Negative, no. Y negative X. So take a second. You're going to flip your points. And then the symbol in the back is going to change the symbol, like change the sign. So you're going to flip it, change the sign in the back. Flip it, change the sign in the back. Flip it, change the sign in the back. Gosh, my email is blowing up. So where are they going to be at? 2, -4. And then B, -1, -6. People get tripped up on this because when you flip it, they think it has to turn positive. It just means it stays whatever it is. The back symbol changes. So the 6 was positive, now it's negative. And then C prime is where? 1, -7. We're going to plot those based on our fake 0, 0. Okay. So we're starting here, and then we're going to go over 2, down -4. So you're plotting it based on the fake 0, 0. It's not real. Negative. Oh my gosh. Am I like mute this? -1, -6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, -7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. C prime. And then we're going to color it in. The last thing we're going to do is find the real points. Because right now we've dealt with all the fakeness. Now we're going back to the real stuff. Take a second, write out the real points to A, B, and C. Yeah. What's up? Like the original A? No. So it would be at 2, 5. Is that what you're saying? But because I moved the origin, this is my new 0, 0. This turning point is -2, 3. So that's where I'm spinning around. So it's based on this new point. So I had to go over 1, 2, 3, 4, and up to from the new origin. What you get for wandering the halls for an extra couple minutes. It's okay. We're going to do one more. So what's the final for A prime? 0, -1. What's the final for B prime? What? -3. -3. And then C? -1, -4. Nice, nice, nice. Okay. Let's go to the back and do the very last problem. So flip to the back. Let's go to the very last problem. So find your very last problem on your paper. Very last problem. Take a second. Try this one. See if you can do it. See if you got it. First thing you're going to do is move the X and Y axis completely. So it says we're moving to point A. That's where you're going to draw your Y axis and your X axis. So this is the very last problemo. So we're on the back at the bottom. You can do this one by yourself. Based on your new 00. Write out baby and sleep. Yeah. One of the dark stuff. It's supposed to be fun. Try to write out 80 based on your new origin. Origin has been shifted over and up. Yeah. So you should be using coordinates. A is at 00. Technically at 1, but now it's at 00 because that's where we moved the origin. B is at 2, 1. And C is at 1, 2, 3. You should be using the counterclockwise 90 degrees, which is negative y x. You're doing two things. You're flipping it. You're making the front negative. Once you plot it, all these numbers are not real. You have to write out the real numbers. Yeah. Same thing.
No, it's the something called zero.
No. 0 is the only neutral number. No. So A stays at 0, 0. Does anybody know what B prime is? Negative 1, 2. And then T? Negative 3, 1. Okay, so when you plot these, you're using the fake 0, 0 still. 0, 0, A does not change because A is the spinning point. B is at negative 1, positive 2. C is at negative 3, 1, 2, 3, up 1. So it's spun around A slightly, 90 degrees, just a little bit. Okay. And then the last thing you have to do is write out the real points because none of those numbers are correct. So the final answer, I go back to pretending like 0, 0 is 0, 0. Where is A actually at on the graph? 1, 1, positive 1, positive 1. And then B prime? 0, 3. And then C prime? Negative 2, positive 2. So is it weird? Yes. Is it hard? No. So yeah. So you have the rest of these. And then when you're done with this, you can just start on tomorrow's because tomorrow kind of has doesn't have like a lot, but that way you could just start tomorrow's. And that way, if I don't see you